How's it going, YouTube? Jamie the Kid 00 here, coming at you guys with my first tournament report in quite a while. I've been converting a lot of my tournament reports into into kind of in-depth deck profiles, but my last video that I posted about this deck was an in-depth deck profile, so I figured I'd actually do a tournament report, talk a little less about the deck list because it's almost identical to, well, the main and extra are identical to what you've seen already on my channel, the last video I posted. However, I do now have a side deck to talk to you guys about. And hey, I can talk about the games that I played throughout the day. Either way, I think I'm going to get right into this. I'm going to move some stuff out of the way. I'm going to talk about my list very quickly. I'd also just like to say, before I get into this, Fossil Diner is MVP. Fossil Diner was the best card all day. It basically won me 3 out of the 4 games I played. Long story short. Right, let's get into the main deck profile. You've seen this list already if you've watched the other video, but I will go through it at a reasonable pace for those who haven't. So, 3 armor, the core of the deck. 3 arsenal, the way to get to your armor. So you've got 6 armors. 3 accelerator, I didn't like 2, I was right. The third one came in handy really often today. I really like the third, don't regret it. So that was good. 3 Mark 2. Nothing much to say there about you've got to play 3 because of Gear. You can't play 2. You can't play any less than that. I don't know why you would, because it's a really powerful card. It sets up loads of plays, so really like it. The one Geargiano to make the 4. This card is really good in tandem with this for making Black Rose plays. If you've got the Watchdog, but I said that in the last video. For the tuners, 2 Watchdog. You only need 1 Nishipachi. This card's really good at comboing with set Gigi armors. I should probably do a video on how to make OTK's plays with this deck, because the OTK plays are pretty fun. The one Birdman, this is the best tuner in the deck, in my opinion, because of the way this interacts with Geargia Accelerator, the fact you can have a Geargia on field, especially the Accelerator, bounce the Accelerator for this, and then special the Accelerator back. This sets off so many OTK plays. The 3 Maxi, these were okay throughout the day. They weren't that good against the decks I played against. A lot of the time they were 1-for-1s, but hey, they were maxis, they were there. And Redux gave me 2 good plays. One was a Monster Reborn when I got Solemn Warninged, and I had the OTK. I just needed a Karakuri to stick, a Geargia summon to stick. The Geargia summon got warning, so I was able to Redux and then go for game from there. And the other good play was my opponent was playing Agents. He had Hyperion, Mech-Whipped Engineer on the field. I managed to go off making like Bure, and then had Redux in hand. I Bure'd his Engineer and 1 Hyperion to defense, and I went to Bure the last Hyperion, and he used the Engineer to change that to defense so it can be killed. I then killed over both the unprotected cards and then made Big Ice and then took the protected Hyperion. So I managed to clear his board from there. But then he had Honest, I lost. So that was the monster lineup. No complaints about that. Spells, just 3 upstarts. I have no problem with this. I never needed any of the other spells. I play it again like that. The traps. 3 Gear. I drew this dead once throughout the 4 rounds of Swiss that I played, so it was pretty good. 3 Wabaku. This card was really good when I drew it. I didn't draw it very often, but it was there. It was a really good out to the OTK because I played against Heretics in the rounds. But honestly, I didn't see this card that much. I think I resolved it once. I saw it about 3 times, but I only ever activated it once. So it was surprisingly dead. Double 7 tools. I only activated this once today. I wouldn't take it out. It's just that against some of the decks I played, no traps were really played, and I didn't draw it that often. So it was something that I'd really have to test some more on my Dueling Network testing. This card has been really good, but hey, in real life, no one activated any traps on me. Double Call of the Haunted. These were incredibly powerful throughout the day. These won me about 2 games themselves, so really like those. Double Mirror Force. It keeps you alive. It's really good. It keeps you alive, removes your opponent's board, allows you to make the OTK because you've cleared their board. Then for the 1-off traps, 1 Compulse. This was really powerful. 1 Torrential. So-so. It's an off switch. Yes, I know you have to keep field presence for your Gigi armor, but there are some situations in which your opponent is going to overwhelm you anyway and use Torrential. That's the occasions I use that in. Bottomless, only resolve this once, and Warning, I only resolve this once. So, like, I didn't see traps that often. People kept commenting on me on the fact that I play, I think, like 16 traps, and I saw a lot of the time my hands were like 3 or 4 monsters and a trap. You know, it was 3 or 4 monsters and the rest were traps, and it was like there weren't as many traps as monsters consistently, so it was kind of painful. For the extra deck, 2 Geargia X. I made 2 of these fairly frequently. I would have liked a third, but I never actually needed a third to win a game. The third just would have been overkill, but it was good. One card I didn't actually think I was going to make very often, but it's something that I actually made 3 times during the event, was Daigusto Emerald. This card was actually surprisingly effective in the long game, and at some points in the short game, so it was really quite good in that regard. The 1 Maystroke for plays where I had to avoid mirror forces, tarantulas and things like that, which was it was effective in that regard. It's just sadly the one time I really needed this effect to resolve, it got Veiled. 1 Zen Mains, which I made once, and the 1 Big Eye, which I made once for the Hyperion play that I spoke about earlier. So that is the Exceeders. I would not change a thing about the Exceeders, in my opinion. I played the 1 Black Rose. I made this twice, I believe. Yeah, I think it was twice. The 3 Karakuri Shogun Beret. I'm so happy I managed to shift that super that I was using in the last deck profile. I managed to get an ulti after the event, so I had to settle for a super. But hey, the 3 Shoguns I do not regret playing. The third one was essential in a good few plays. I think I made the third one about 2 or 3 times. So, it was good. I wouldn't change the ratios. The 1 Steel Shogun, I only ever needed 1, and I think I only ever made it once. A lot of my OTK pushes either ended in Stardust Dragon or Crimson Blader, so that's my input on that. And then for our 4 generic synchros, I played 1 Stardust Dragon. It was the generic thing for when you had the game push already, and you wanted to make something that would protect your board if you got Swift Scarecrowed. Stardust Dragon was my go-to guy for that. I never actually got Swift Scarecrowed in those occasions, but in those situations I would have then been protected from Dark Hole, so it was good like that. The 1 Scrap Dragon, I never actually made this, but it would have been good for removal. The 1 Crimson Blader, I made this once, and the 1 Colossal Fire, I never made this. So that was the main and extra. Now to talk about the bit you guys haven't seen before. The sideboard. The sideboard was something that I built more on personal preference than anything else. It was tested a bit on Dueling Network, but I've never tested these Fossil Diners on there. So these were brand new, and I had a lot of fun with these. So Fossil Diner is something we're going to talk about quite in depth. The Fossil Diner is something that has been seeing a lot of play over the course of the past few months. Not past few months, sorry, past few weeks in the format as a way to deal with dragons. And that's why they were in here, because a friend of mine plays dragons at locals. He didn't this time, but I played against a fair few special summoning decks anyway. To summarise how good they were, I may be confusing the order in which round 2 and 3 occurred, so I'm sorry guys if I've got you the back to front. But round 1 I ended up playing against a Relinquished player who's playing like the Relinquished Piper deck. And game 2, sided these in. I drew this maybe turn 1 or turn 2, and there were situations in which I was just like, summon Diner, start poking, and there was literally nothing he could do, because his only normal summon that could get over this was, I believe, Manju of the 10,000 Hands, or whatever it's called. So it was really, really effective, and he just ended up poking him down. Round 2, I played up against Hieratics, and game 2 simply went, I had a set armor, he doesn't do it, sorry, no, I had this, I normal summon it, and I put traps on the back row to start protecting it, and I just continually poke with this. I set an armor, and I start getting armor pluses going 11, 12, set, 11, 12, and it just went like that. Against agents, I played against an agent player who opened a fairly boss monstery hand, and this card was able to give me lockdowns. And the only matchup in which this was bad and I never drew it was the Madolche matchup, which I played in the final round. So the 2 diners were really effective there. Triple MST, these only went in against the Madolche player, I believe. I never put them in against Heretics. I didn't put them against the Agents. I didn't put them in against Relinquished, I don't think. No, I sided in 2 because I didn't know what his trap lineup was going to be like, but I never really needed them. They were good in the Madolche matchup. They shut out, I believe, a Chateau. Can't actually remember, but the 3 MST was good. 3 Rivalry, I sided these in only against the Agent player. Sorry, not the Agent player. The Madolche player, I didn't feel that these were going to be very effective against the Agent player, because, yes, he played a TG engine, but I don't know, I didn't feel that they were going to do enough damage to him, to be quite frank. I did, however, put them in against Madolche player, and the only time I saw one go MST'd, so I can't really say too much about that. 3 DNA surgery. There was a prophecy player there, and I never played against him, so these never went in. I never needed to put the DNA surgeries in. Triple Iron Wall. These went in against the Agent player. Saw them. They won a game, so why not? Like Iron Wall Fossil Dino wins games, so that was pretty good. And then the one Soul Drain, I put it in against Medolce and Hieratics, and I didn't see it in either matchup. So that was something that happened. So to summarize, I think you've probably guessed how most of my games went throughout the day. I ended up playing against a Relinquished deck round 1, sorry, I'm losing my mind now. I played against a Relinquished deck round 1. That went 2-0 in my favour because this deck is really fast, to be fair. Like, after the turn 1, if you survive past the turn 1 and get the armor to stick, if you can get to your Birdman pretty quick, you'll win. So that was a 2-0 match in my favour. I then played against Agents. That was a 2-1 game. Game 2, I made the play which I talked about, which was big, when he had the Hyperion, 2 Hyperions and the Engineer, and I big-eyed 1 Hyperion. And next turn he put a board out, attacked a couple of guys, and then I was silly. I didn't believe him that he had... Sorry, no, I attacked direct. He puts Gauze down and a token in attack mode. And I swung into the token. I was on 1600. I swung into the token, which was on 26. No, which was on 25 because a Gigan had attacked. I attacked into it with Shogun. He goes Honest. I take the 23 direct and I lose. So losing to Honest. And then game 3, I managed to just win outright with the Fossil Dino, which was pretty fun. And then round 3, I played against Hieratics. Hieratics was an interesting game. It was a borrowed deck, and I'm not sure if he entirely knew what he was doing. So there are so many situations in which he tributed a need. I'm not even sure if it's compulsory. I'd have to read a Hieratic. But he hardly ever got the normal monster out whenever he used a Hieratic monster, whenever he tributed a Hieratic monster. And I might have not corrected him. I'm starting to think that they might be compulsory effects, but he never brought out his normal monsters. He never really made any big pushes, and I just found it very easy to win game 1. And then game 2, the Fossil Dino just ensured that he couldn't make any normal summons. Sorry, he couldn't make any special summons, and his only normal summonable Hieratic monster goes down to 1000 attack when it's normal summons, so there's literally nothing he could do against me, and he lost there. Then round 4, I ended up playing against Medolce. I lost game 1 pretty damn hard because of... because he had the pudding cess play really... Not pudding cess play, sorry. The Tiramisu play really quick with Invoker and Tiramisu. Pushed me out of advantage and I lost. So losing game 1 was pretty scary. It was my first game 1 loss of the whole day. Game 2, I ended up having the OTK on my turn 2. So I'd gone first, set up the armor. I'm then able to MST his only back row that he finds. I then go full on with the full OTK, swing in, and he reveals to me that he only has a hand of all Medolces, so he instantly loses there. Game 3 is pretty backsy in 4th C, but I'm able to gain board control, and I end up... I'm pretty sure it was backsy 4th C. I'm able to gain board control and win. I know at one point I make... I've got a field of Gigant and Phoenix and 2 normal summoned Geargia Mark 2s because they've been bringing out level 4s and I've been dropping accelerators and I just didn't exceed the Mark 2s. I attacked with Gigant straight into a Fossil Dino, but luckily my opponent was on 1-6, so I was able to attack in direct after the Fossil Dino died with the 2 normal summoned Geargianos to win the game, which was a bit lucky of me, but even if they'd been exceeded into Zen mains, the Zen mains would have stayed alive and I could have attacked for 1-5, put them down to 100, so I would have been in a game-winning state anyway. But either way, guys, that's about all I wanted to talk about. That's about all I have to talk about with my matchups. I quite enjoyed playing this variant of the deck. I would definitely support playing this version of the deck rather than the Samuel Pedigo net deck for your locals, because the 3 Iron Wall, 3 Goes in Match and Soul Drain in main deck will not help you guys at your locals. It will put you in a bad position because not everyone plays Dragons. If you go to a Regionals or a YCS or something of that caliber, where you're fairly sure everyone there is going to be playing Dragons, I would fully support main decking at least some of what Samuel Pedigo played in his. But for now, I'm pretty comfortable with this list. I would play it again if I wasn't playing Dragons at a competitive event that I may be going to in a couple of weeks. But other than that, I will be trying to bring you guys some more fun decks. I'm trying to build a plant deck, which is coming in leaps and bounds. All of my university work should be done by Thursday, so I should be able to bring you more deck profiles come Friday. Otherwise, you're probably going to be hearing very little from me. But other than that, yeah, that's about all I wanted to talk about. I'll see you guys soon. Also, check out my Facebook. The link will be in the description below. If you want to see a written deck list of this deck, please go to my other video. It should be on my channel just after this one. I'm not going to be retyping the deck list. So if you want to see the deck list, please go check out that video. Otherwise, go like my Facebook, which will be linked in the description. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.